With friends like Stephen A. Smith, who need enemies, man? Credit to the Breakfast Club for calling out Stephen A. Smith for this absolute malarkey, backtracking, backbiting, and snakish activity. The Breakfast Club called out Stephen A. Smith for some inconsistency in his Big Boy interview. During this interview, he was talking about Shannon Sharp. And he said some things about the Shannon Sharp situation that had a lot of people giving him a bombastic side eye.
This right here, this does, as soon as I saw Busby was her attorney and all this kind
you can look at somebody and even if you take issue with their choices and what they've done, you can still sit up there and look at them and say they're a friend. Mm-hmm. And it means the world to them.
And this is the time.
And it means the world to them. And so for me, all I want him and anybody to know is that you ain't gonna see me excoriating him. You ain't gonna see me disrespecting him. You're not gonna see me stripping him of my support. I can tell you what I think you right and you wrong about, right? Getting your about it and then turn around and say, okay, how can we help you get back past this? All of that comes with friendship. And I think that true friends conduct themselves that way. They ain't yes people that tell you just what you want to hear. They ain't no people that's willing to vilify you to second something. I mean, I see cats talking about him, and I can't even put in the words the shit I've seen them do and heard about them doing, especially in our business. And so it's like you just, and then I see the zest with which people are willing to pounce on him. And it's like, listen, people have been after him since he did Cat Williams. You know, they've been at his neck because of the numbers he produced and the success that it had and how he was able to ride that wave. Now, once again, that's separate and apart from all of this. We get that part.
Stephen A. Smith is so full of it, bro. This dude is only loyal to two things: his bosses at ESPN and public perception. That's it. That's all. Stephen A. Smith was the first one to do the fastest 40-yard dash to his computer to talk about the Shannon Sharp situation when it first dropped. So for Stephen A. Smith to be chastising people speaking on Shannon Sharp or people speaking as if they're happy that Shannon Sharp is in a situation, he's trying to reshape the public narrative in real time. He's trying to reshape the truth as if we didn't watch what Stephen A. Smith did in that video. What Stephen A. Smith did in his reporting of Shannon Sharp was one of the nastiest works I've ever seen. When it comes to reporting on somebody you call a friend and a coworker, it was nasty. But we're going to get to it shortly, right? And people did call him out on it. Now, Stephen A. Smith understands, he's very smart, he's very witty, he's a very crafty dude. He understands that people would automatically start telling him, hey, bruh, ain't you speak on Shannon Sharp the day it happened? Like, ain't you damn near convicted him in your video? So he would then say, oh no, he has no problem with people speaking on Shannon Sharp. He has a problem with their tone and them reporting with zest and flamboyantly.
I'm not talking about what people are talking about and what they have to talk about. I'm talking about the zest with which they do it. If I sit up there and I'm friends with Big Boy, I'm a contemporary colleague with Big Boy, right? And then Big Boy get in trouble. It's one thing for me to be on the end going like this, yeah, you know, I mean, this is what happened to Big Boy. And it's another thing in time, you'd be like, yeah, you see what happened to Big Boy?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, you know, you just see that and you see a joy that some people are having in going at him, and that's sad. You can talk about it, but we know the difference in terms of the flavor that you're bringing to an equation where you're talking about somebody with glee and joy in your voice when, you know, when you're talking about the kind of predicament they find themselves in. And that's what I have a problem with. So for me, it's just about making sure that he knows, and anybody that knows how I feel knows that he matters to me, and I want him to be okay.
The Breakfast Club, rightly so, heard that hogwash and called out Stephen A. Smith and said what we were all thinking. Bro, you're full of it, right? You were the first one to do the exact thing that you're trying to critique people for.
Did he say He sees the zest in which people want to pounce on him.
I knew you was going to
Yeah, that whole sentence.
If you zesty pouncing on somebody,
It's
Jesus
like,
Christ.
yo.
I will say in a lot of ways, I could say Stephen A. set the tone for that commentary
Yo,
though.
I said that.
Because one of the first people who commented on Shannon Sharpe was Stephen A.
Yeah.
And he said,
He put out a 20-minute video that night.
Yeah.
and then said, basically, this is my guy, but I'm going where ESPN go. I'm going where ESPN goes. Which I get it. That's like, I mean, that's where you work at and all that. But now the tone is giving, we stand with Shannon Sharpe regardless, whatever, or at least be careful how you talk about him. But when he talked about it that first night, I was like, are they friends? I was a little confused.
Well said. You're not confused. You're actually spot on. Stephen A. Smith's original response had a lot of people attributing guilt to Shannon Sharpe. Because people will point out that when Jay-Z was going through the same thing, Stephen A. Smith came out and took a strong stance. He said Jay-Z is innocent. This is a shakedown. He can't believe that people would think that Jay-Z would do this. But with Shannon Sharpe, Stephen A. Smith was using a lot of Karen terms, bro. Stephen A. Smith was using terms it was terms that made me feel uncomfortable, no pun intended. Stephen A. Smith was talking as if Shannon Sharpe was guilty, as if Shannon Sharpe was doing something wrong.
This is the most damning thing Stephen A. Smith said, and this is why I'm just like, when these stories come out at some point this morning, some point before the week's over, ESPN's going to be like, deuces, I'm good. We've seen enough here, because Stephen A. Smith publicly questioned the strategy of Shannon Sharpe and his team.
Going on the offensive to defend himself, I completely understand where Shannon Sharpe is coming from. On the other hand, when his legal team issued out the press release on X yesterday, and they spoke about, they mentioned her name, and they revealed some of those explicit text messages, that was uncomfortable. And I don't know if that's a strategy that would work.
It made me uncomfortable. Him releasing her name. Bro, how does this man defending himself make you uncomfortable, bro? He was using Karen textbook corporate language, bro. This was him trying to get that man out the paint, bro. And if he wasn't trying to get him out the paint, if this was him showing solidarity, we couldn't tell. Everyone who heard Stephen A. Smith talk like this, the first thing they said was, oh, Shannon Sharpe don't got the support of ESPN. Shannon Sharpe got to be doing something wrong, bro, because if your own coworkers coming out speaking like this against you. So Stephen A. Smith was the first one to go at Shannon Sharpe. The first. This man defending himself, this man attacking the allegations like stronghold. Like, this man going directly at the allegations just like Jay-Z did. When Jay-Z did it, it make you feel uncomfortable. When Shannon Sharpe does it, it makes you uncomfortable, right? Bro, Stephen A. Smith will even go on how he talked to the bosses of ESPN, even dog whistling how Shannon Sharpe is in some big trouble, right? So when he says, I talked to the bosses of ESPN, and they're taking this very seriously. Bro, that was him dog whistling that Shannon Sharpe done effed up.
All that I spoke to Shannon, not in details, but I spoke to him, and he emphatically proclaims his innocence. According to Mr. Busby, his client emphatically proclaims his guilt. So where does that leave us? I'd love to tell you that I know the answer to that question, but I don't. I am the executive producer of First Take on ESPN. I recruited Shannon. I went and got him and brought him to ESPN. But I'm not the boss. Those are other folks. There are layers to this, and there are certain layers even I am not on. I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously, and we are looking into this very, very closely. In my perfect world, he moves on. and somehow, some way, we find this all to be false. But it doesn't seem like that's the way things are about to go down, considering who Mr. Busby is and how emphatic his client is proclaiming that she is right and she's telling the truth. I don't know where this is going to go.
Can you imagine being Shannon Sharp? Let's say the accusations drop at 12 p.m. You put out your response proclaiming your innocence at 1 p.m. And then somebody who do a show with you 3 times a week, somebody who people closely associate with you, Stephen A. Smith, he hops on his show at 4 p.m. talking about, I hope he innocent, but the way things is going, man, it don't appear it's going that way. I hope we get past this and this is all a misunderstanding, but the way things is going, I don't think it's going that way. Bro, that's you damn near saying I'm guilty, bro. That's you saying, yeah, bro, like, bro, he did it. He did it. And using language like, I'm uncomfortable. Now, Stephen A. Smith is so loyal to public perception. He's so committed to it that it wouldn't be until he hopped on Twitter and seen everybody calling him a snake, everybody going off on him for not having Shannon Sharp back, just like how he had Jay-Z's back. He had to come back on his show to offer up the first instance of support for Shannon Sharp on his second live stream when he should have done it on the first.
A lot of people were looking for me to say something. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to speak to one's innocence or one's guilt about something I have absolutely positively no knowledge of whatsoever. Do I believe that Shannon Sharp is guilty of what he has been accused of? Absolutely not. That is my personal opinion. The brother that I've come to know, I don't believe would assault or rape anybody. And I'm going to state that emphatically. But just as emphatically, I'm going to remind everybody it is my opinion because of what I feel about him. Not in any way implying that I know a damn thing beyond that, because I don't know. I've seen the text messages released by his lawyer, who, by the way, I don't think has been impressive in this at all, because some of the information that was...
He came back and changed up his tone just a little bit, but even that wouldn't help. Now, if I'm Stephen A. Smith, I will come out and say, man, listen, bro, me and Shannon Sharp is co-workers. We're not really homies, bro. Y'all expecting me to be loyal to a dude I'm not even friends with. To me, that would help, right? That would help. But to call this man a friend, this is my guy, this is my friend. Just like you call Jay-Z a friend. Jay-Z's your guy. Jay-Z and Shannon Sharp has been accused of similar things. But with one guy is, man, he's completely innocent. I will put my reputation at risk for Jay-Z. Man, he ain't do none of that, but they capping. For Shannon Sharp is, man, I would hope he's innocent, but I don't know how this is going to go, right? Like, come on, bro. And then you hop on an interview and go off on people like myself and others who are speaking on Shannon Sharp. And because we aren't being performative, being theatrical with our sadness and us being solemn and melancholy, you're now saying that us speaking on Shannon Sharp is a problem. But when you did it, when you damn near convicted Shannon Sharp in the court of public opinion, it was all good. It was all dandy. Listen, if I'm Stephen A. Smith, I wouldn't have said anything because I understand that me being so close to Shannon Sharp, bro, what I say can really, 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 really affect the battle of public perception. So if I'm Stephen A. Smith, I'm keeping quiet, bro. I'm being quiet. I'm being quiet. If I'm not ready to come out and give a definitive opinion, I'm being quiet, bro. Because what's the point of speaking if you're not going to give the actual opinion? Do you think he's innocent? Okay, then say that. Do you think he's guilty? Okay, then say that. Just say it. But being around the bush and hinting towards this man's guilt, to me, was wrong. But if Stephen A. Smith would have not spoken on it, he wouldn't have gotten the 1 million views he got in 10 hours. Man, listen, man, I'm all down for, right, for disloyalty or whatnot, but just don't be a fake about it. Don't be a hypocrite about it, right? Yo, if you're saying, hey, Shannon, we not that cool, bro, I'm going to get this 1 million views off you, homie, do that. but don't be a hypocrite about it, bro. Don't do that and then go on interviews and try to chastise people like us who are speaking on Shannon Sharp as if you ain't do it first and if you ain't do it worse. Y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this, okay? Do you guys believe Stephen A. Smith backstab or betrayed Shannon Sharp? Let me know. And if you're still watching, click on this video here somewhere on my screen, to hear from another victim who is accusing Shannon Sharp of more heinous things. Click on this video right here to find out what I'm talking about. I'm gonna see you guys in this video. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.